What's up, everybody? It's me, April, aka your cosmic homegirl, and I'm here to talk about Mercury in Aries, the transit of Mercury in Aries from March through May of 2018. So the reason why Mercury is going to be in Aries for so long is because he's going to go retrograde. He's actually already in shadow period in the month of March, then he goes retrograde March 23rd. And I'm here to talk all about it, okay? So I'm gonna cover what it means for us as a collective and what it means for you as far as your sign and how the retrograde will affect you, what to look out for, all that good stuff. Mercury, what does Mercury rule? It rules our communication. It rules our devices that we use to communicate. It rules transportation, like how we get around our city, our state, whatever, how we get to work and back. Do you ride a train? Do you ride a bike? Do you ride a bus? Do you ride a skateboard? Do you walk? What do you do? So Mercury rules all of that. It rules the skills of the hands. It rules your mind, your memory, your logic, your reason, all of that stuff. It rules how you type, how you text, how you speak, and just communication in general. So what is Aries energy like when we apply Mercury to Aries, okay? Or we apply Aries energy into Mercury, what does that mean? Well, Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is the planet of aggression and action and initiative, and it can be kind of impatient sometimes too. Mars rules war and aggression and stuff. So when we apply that to Mercury, well, I mean, you do the math. What do you get? You get people speaking in more of a direct manner. They could be a little bit more blunt at times too. They could be very quick to say things that maybe they didn't really think about thoroughly first. And then a second later be like, oh snap, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And so Mercury in Aries can be impulsive with what it does with its hands, with its speech, and everything. So Mercury is going to be in the sign of Aries. Well, he entered Aries on March 6th, and then he will be there until May the 13th of 2018. So the retrograde period is going to be from the 23rd of March to the 16th of April. We still have the shadow phases and everything. So let's go in date order. Let me let you know how Mercury is going to go while it's in Aries and all the aspects it'll make, and then I'll get to all of your signs and how it'll affect you individually. So Mercury in Aries, like I said, it could be blunt, it could be direct. So just make sure that you're not just blurting out any old thing, okay, without thinking about it. Mercury in Aries can bring out more of the vulgarities in people. I've already been witnessing this, you know, people saying a little bit more bleepity bleep 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 words, not really caring, not having a filter, not censoring themselves, because Aries energy is about, this is who I am, this is how I am. You just need to accept it. You know, you just need to accept me for me, and I'm gonna do me. And that's it. Mercury rules driving, and yeah, people have been a little bit more aggressive with driving. I'm sure some of you have noticed that. Mercury in Aries is a very quick sign. Like, it wants things done now. It wants to get somewhere right now. It could be very impatient. So people could be driving in more of a faster and impatient manner, like just wanting to get from point A to point B. And if anybody's in their way, they're going to be honking. They're going to maybe have a little road rage. You know what I mean? So it brings more of that out of people wanting to be places early, wanting to get up early. Aries is all about being first, me first, right? So Mercury in Aries can have us all thinking in a way of like, me first. I've got to get what I want, what I need, and where I need to go. And I got to be there first. I got to be early, you know? And some people could be bragging about, well, I was here first. Where were all you losers when I got there? So that's how this energy can play out. Mercury in Aries is it's wanting to do things a lot quicker and wanting to cut corners and not really, you know, deal with BS that's like standing in your way. Just getting straight to it, straight to the point. One of the positive things about Mercury in Aries right now is that he will be in a conjunction with Venus pretty much through the month of March. I would say up until the 26th of March, he's in a conjunction with Venus. Pretty close. And Venus is about smoothing things out, getting along with people, making sure there's harmony and balance in our relationships, being nice. Okay, so she'll kind of make sure Mercury in Aries isn't being too loud, too brash, too harsh, banging his fists on things. Like, oh my God, I told you guys in my March video about how I used to work with a lady that had Mercury in Aries. Oh my God. And every day she was like cave woman, like bang, bang. And I'm like, oh, Lord have mercy. You're disrupting my Venusian spirit. Venus conjunct Mercury while it's in Aries can kind of tone down the harshness that it can normally exude. And so we may be quick to say things. We may be more direct, we may be more brash, but then Venus will step in and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. Or I take that back, you know, or maybe she can have us, some of us, like stopping and thinking about and considering others. That's Venus's job before we say something that we want to say, which is the Mercury in Aries. So Mercury is in its shadow phase from around March 9th until the 23rd of March. And what that means is Mercury is preparing to go retrograde. That means it's slowing down. It's still not orbiting regularly. And so because of that, we will still see some of the effects of Mercury being a little bit out of whack. So all the stuff I said Mercury rules can be a little out of whack. Communication. Miscommunications can happen so much more, okay? Even during the shadow phase, miscommunications will happen to where somebody is speaking and then you're like, what? Like, I don't get it. Or like people will skip words, like, especially if you're ruled by Mercury, which means you are a Gemini or a Virgo somewhere in your chart. You can like skip words when you talk. Like I have a moon and Gemini person close to me that every time Mercury's in shadow or retrograde, I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, like me don't speak. Like, what are you saying? I know Nintendo. Because they will just like skip over words. Like, and I'm like, oh my God, what are you talking about? It can get kind of frustrating, but you have to have patience. Aries energy does not have patience. Okay. Like zero patience, but you have to try to have patience. If you're aware that this energy is a little off, then you can know that a person is not dumb. They're not slow. It's just Mercury just kind of causing this stuff right now. And it's only temporary, you know? So try not to like fly off the handle and get upset over miscommunications or typos. Typos are huge when Mercury is retrograde. You'll see everybody, even the smartest of people that you follow on social media or that you contact via like your phone or technology in some kind of way. Typos, honey, okay? Lots and lots of them. So just have patience with them. Have patience with yourself if you're mistyping and misspelling things. Make sure you're not sending messages to the wrong people because Aries energy, it moves very fast. Mercury, you know, it'll have you typing faster. And so you may, you know, send something to the wrong person. I had a friend that did that before. And she is a Gemini. And I'm sure there was the Mercury retrograde, okay? Because she was trying to send me a message telling me about this dude that she was seeing, but she accidentally sent it to the dude. It was not good. It was not good at all, okay? So make sure that you're double checking your texting, your messages, and all of that stuff. Also, Mercury rules driving. Yeah, I mentioned that. So not only can Mercury and Aries have people driving more crazy a little bit and impatient about where they need to go, but the retrograde, the shadow phase, it can have people a little more reckless, like just, you know, like not really fully paying attention. Like we don't always fully pay attention when Mercury's retrograde or in shadow. So just be very mindful of that. You know, be careful driving. Be on the lookout for people around you. Even if you're like a very smooth, slower driver, you know, you drive like a granny or whatever, other people around you may be a little more crazy. So just be on the lookout. Make sure your insurance is current. Make sure your tags are current. Make sure your tires are aired up, like all kinds of stuff. I've already ran out of gas while Mercury was in shadow, okay? Because I miscalculated, like I forgot about putting in gas, okay? Whatever. It's a Pisces moon thing. Leave me alone. But it's so easy to forget things like that when you have to travel short distances. One of the good things about a Mercury shadow and retrograde phase is retro means going back. So you'll see a lot of people posting stuff like, remember this, remember back in the day that, remember when we were kids, blah, blah, blah. You know, a lot of retro memories. And also Mercury can rule friends and friendships and people that you communicate with. So maybe some old friends from the past that you haven't talked to in a long time can just suddenly pop up. You know, that could be either good or bad. A lot of times exes pop up when Mercury's retrograde, especially under certain signs, which I will get to those in a sec. But yes, people in general from the past, you may run into them while you're out. They may pop up in your DMs, in your messenger, whatever, you know, or just give you a call. Like some people actually still make phone calls. I don't know, but you will hear from some people from the past in some kind of way, or you just may think about people from your past, because Mercury does rule your thinking and retro means going back. So yeah, once again, the shadow phase, it begins around March 9th. And then the retrograde phase starts on March 23rd of 2018. Even in the beginning of April, like the first 2 weeks of April, Mercury will still be in its official retrograde phase. For those of you who are like super nerds like me and want to know the degrees of Mercury retrograde, it gets up to be about 16 degrees of Aries, and it retrogrades back to 4 degrees of Aries, and then it goes direct and proceeds to move through the sign of Aries again. So around the 5th of April, this is when Mercury will be in a square to Saturn. Okay, it was already in a square to Saturn around the middle of March, and then it retrogrades back in degrees, so it'll go back to the same degree as Saturn in Capricorn. So Mercury square Saturn, this is a frustrating conversation between those two planets. So Mercury in Aries, it just wants to get things done fast. Saturn is a planet of slow down, hold up, make sure you're doing things in order, make sure you understand the consequences, make sure this, make sure that. So our minds can be a little frustrated when it comes to getting to where we want to go, doing what we want to do, because Saturn will throw some blocks in your path sometimes to be like, hold on, wait a second, slow your roll. So Mercury square Saturn, it also can be a day where we are thinking, which is Mercury, about long-term goals, which is Saturn. So we are stopping ourselves in our tracks and asking ourselves some questions about like where we're going, what we're doing, what our goals are, our financial goals, especially because Capricorn deals with finance, and finance for the long term, investments and stuff like that. And quite honestly, Saturn can be a little bit on the Debbie Downer side. So some of us may find ourselves caught up in like that type of an attitude or vibe, like feeling a little bit down around that day and be thinking about, oh, life is just so hard and difficult, and I don't know if I'll ever get to where I want to go. I don't know if I'll ever get this or ever do that. Yeah, don't let yourself fall into that trap of that type of a Mercury Saturn negativity, but planning things out, slowing down, and double checking things, making sure things are secure is great for that type of a transit. So then on the 16th of April, this is when Mercury goes direct. So it goes direct at 4 degrees of Aries. So it does stop being retrograde. It does start to proceed forward, but it's still going to be in a shadow phase for 2 weeks after that. Okay, so its energy is still a little wonky. It's still a little off. We still need to be cautious with Mercury ruled things. That includes technology, that includes operating things. Back up your devices, your drives. I have one homegirl who told me that something happened with her information or her computer or something, but she had another flash drive to back things up. So she was like on point, like she was ready, okay, for this retrograde period. So that's what everybody needs to make sure that they're doing, especially if you deal with technology, video, photo, any of that stuff. Back everything up, record things maybe on 2 different types of devices at the same time, or I don't know, something, just really protect those devices, technological devices that you have, and all of your files. But yeah, Mercury, it starts to move forward on the 16th of April. Then on April 25th, it's moving forward and it comes back into a square with Saturn again for the 3rd and last time. So Mercury square Saturn, once again, it's those conversations about stop, hold up, wait a second. Did we double check this? Did we do that? And making sure that we're not being too impulsive in our actions and our decisions. Then finally, on May 12th, this is when Mercury comes into a square with Mars. Okay, a square with Mars. So he's squaring off with Mars, and Mars is aggression, and Mars rules Aries. So this is like kind of an intense day to where some people's speech may be a little bit more elevated in their tone. They may be like, square up, wanting to actually square up. That's what I think of with Mars squares. I think of how people say, square up, ninja, like, come on, like, let's put them up, let's go. Some people may have that attitude a little bit more around that time, be a little bit more angry, easily ticked off, easily set off or whatever. Mercury square Mars, yeah, that could be a frustration to get things done. and to be rushing a lot too. So that's something that you need to be mindful of and try not to tap into. But it can put a fire under your butt, you know, and make you really get things done, but like in a good way, not like yelling at people or anything. Just being very highly motivated is the best way to use that energy. And then on the 13th of May, before Mars leaves the sign of Aries, he's going to make a conjunction with Uranus. So Uranus is a planet that rules like kooky, outrageous, outlandish things that are sudden, shocking, unexpected, lightning bolts. Okay, that's what I think of with Uranus. So people's speech, oh my gosh, they're gonna be really like mad, kooky on this day, and having like this loud, like mad scientist laugh, and you know, maybe cracking some inappropriate jokes, because this is Aries here that we're talking about, okay? And also having some really great genius ideas just pop up very suddenly, very quickly. So you need to make sure you write them down, you record them some kind of way, because as fast as they come through is as fast as they will leave. So Mercury conjunct Uranus, this is also a day to be super like excellent with technology. If you do anything for a living or for art or whatever with technology, your skills will be on point around the 13th, because you'll be like, you know, receiving all these electrical shocks, you know, from Uranus, of like all this alien, like, you know, space age idea stuff, and be like way ahead of the game. And you'll be like, yeah, you know what? I came up with that before anybody else. Haha, like that type of stuff around that day. So then on the 13th, like really like late at night, or maybe even the morning of the 14th, depending on where you live in the world, that's when Mercury finally leaves the sign of Aries after like 2 months of being in this energy. Woof, it may be a wild ride, you guys. So how is it going to affect every sign? I will go through all of them right now. Starting with Aries, Aries sun, moon, or rising. How's Mercury in Aries affecting you guys for 2 months? So this is in your sign. So you'll be extra talkative, extra loud, extra boisterous. Your mind is going to be whizzing around really fast, so quickly, like a Tasmanian devil, that it will be kind of hard for you to keep up with practical things, to be quite honest. You'll want to do so many things at once, be so like craving a variety in life, and just like starting this, then starting that, then starting that. And you need to make sure that you don't get caught up to where you don't finish things that you start, that you're like abandoning them and moving on to a new thing before you even complete something. Now with Mercury retrograde in your sign, this could be you going back over anything in life, anything. It's in your sign, but you are one of the number one signs though that can have like mishaps and typos and stuff like that happen. So you just need to make sure you're aware of that. Make sure you take the proper precautions. Think before you speak, okay? Because retro can mean like a boomerang, like it's flung right back at you. If you're speaking in a way that's like so harsh and just like blah, like you don't even consider another person before you say something, it could be flung back at you. Then you're like, oh, well, you know what? Maybe I didn't mean to say that after all, but whatever. But you will have excellent mental activity. It'll be probably hard to sleep for a lot of Aries people, because Mercury, it makes your mind so like busy and active that it can be hard to sleep and to relax. But the best thing to do is to stay active though. Stay active, stay physically active, stay involved in things that allow you to be physically and mentally active at the same time is the best way to handle this energy. For Tauruses, Taurus sun, moon, or rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 12th house. So the 12th house is a very chill, quiet area. It's your subconscious mind. It's one of the houses that can rule the subconscious. It's this house of sleep too. So Tauruses, you may be having a little bit more tougher time sleeping and relaxing too, because Mercury's there like buzzing around, you know, but it can have your dreams be more vivid. It can have you in more of a connection to people in the spirit realm, if you believe in such, or the angelic realm. It can have you, you know, Mercury skills of the hands and the mind. So if you are into things like practicing tarot or meditation or anything to where you channel energy, Tauruses will be like super duper charged in that type of area. But when it comes to doing practical stuff, Tauruses, You guys may be like mad forgetful. I'm just letting you know it won't be the best time to do practical things. It's better just to chill, lay low, be low key under the radar, and maybe watch movies at home, maybe like enjoy some quiet arts, music, all that stuff solo by yourself or even with another person, but like very chill. It's very mellow energy. With Mercury retrograde here, you could be reflecting back on anything in life, just going back in general, going back in time, going back in your memories of the past. For some of you, if you have like very emotional memories, yeah, they can come back. Honestly, I'm just letting you know. But you can have people come back in dream and in memory, like very, very sharply. For Gemini, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 11th house. So this is the house of friends. This is the house of your fellow aliens. This is the house of people who have common interests, the same as you, and that you network with, that you associate with, or whatever. So for Geminis, this is kind of a social, more of a social thing for you. And you guys are a social sign. You guys are very communicative and usually out talking to people and stuff like that. So this can have you really out there, like networking, mingling, all of that stuff, craving the energy of friends, wanting to be around friends, talking to them, going out with them, or just texting, messaging, whatever. And especially having friends come back from the past, because Mercury's retrograde. Retro means going back, bringing people back. So you're one of the number one signs that will be running into people, whether you like it or not. Okay, it can mean exes too. Okay, for everybody, but especially the ones that have Mercury retrograde in a house that rules people. So also, if you are doing anything with technology or social media, Gemini, including like uploading videos or content or, you know, making posts and stuff, you are one of the number one signs. And especially because Mercury is your ruling planet, who needs to be very careful. Make sure you're doing things. You may have to do things a few times, because means redoing and going back over again. So you may have to redo some of that stuff a few times before you actually get it right. And make sure you're just, you know, being cautious, being meticulous with all the details. And I know that can be hard for some Geminis to do, but you have to really try to do that to avoid mishaps and mistakes and stuff like that. Putting out the wrong video or picture or something, you know, that wasn't supposed to be for the public. Oh my gosh, that can happen to some of you guys. But honestly, yeah, it can be a good time to go back and network with people that maybe you used to in the past, maybe you haven't in a long time, or just reunite and reconnect with some friends. So for Cancer, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 10th house, which is your career, which is your public image, your social status, yada, 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 how the public sees you, and how authority figures see you and your place of authority in the world. So Mercury here in general can have you a little bit more bossy, a little bit more take charge of your life, and especially of your job and your career. So it can have you speaking in more of a tone that is like wanting to express your authority, have people respect you. Also, you'll be very busy because Mercury, wherever it transits, you can be like the ultimate busybody. So be very busy within your career, being pulled over here, there, like in different directions. You can find yourself caught up in that. Also, this could be a time where you can talk a little bit more comfortably with authority figures and higher ups, because you feel like one of them. You feel like you're at the same level as them. So it's much easier to do so. Now with the retrograde, this can have you guys going back over and thinking about your career goals, your career plans. What are you doing as far as a career? Are you even in a career, or are you in just a job? If you desire a career and a title, what are you doing to get there? You may be looking back on some opportunities from the past that you had as far as career and seeing about them. Maybe not take advantage of them until after the retrograde is over, but still maybe like going back and contacting some people, or maybe people contacting you. That could be how it plays out for my Cancers. So for Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, how is Mercury in Aries affecting you guys? So for you guys, this is in the 9th house, which is fun, excitement, life experiences, education, getting outside of your bubble, which means traveling, yes, and foreign people, foreign cultures, all of that good stuff. So with Mercury here, some Leos, if you would like to learn a foreign language, this could be a time to maybe try to learn one, although the retrograde can have it go a little bit not as you would want it to, maybe a little bit more difficult, but you may want to just be in tune with culture. That means culture is even other than your own, or talking to different people in other different foreign cultures than yours. Also, if you are a Leo that's traveling, or you're trying to travel, your travel plans may be changed up a few times, okay? I already have a Leo rising close to me that this has happened. They've gone back and forth with what they're going to do. Are they going to travel or are they not? Are they going or are they not? You know? And so you need to make sure that your travel plans, if they're made, that you go over them in detail, in enough detail to where you can avoid mishaps. Do whatever you have to do to make sure that things are solid in your travel plans. If you're driving, you're traveling through driving, you drive long distances, Leo, definitely you're one of those signs that you need to make sure that everything works properly on your vehicle, or on whatever vehicle that you're traveling in, that everything is tuned up, insured, protected, and all of that stuff. If you're a Leo and you are in school, you may have some things come back to you, like mistakes made when it comes to assignments. So you need to be really mindful of that and make sure that you're double checking everything when it comes to school. But as far as the retrograde, it means going back. So maybe travel could be like going back to places that you've been in the past and that you miss, and you want to visit there again, and just enjoying that rather than somewhere new, like trying to do something new when Mercury's retrograde. You could just be going over your goals and your life experiences, ones that you've had, and then what are the ones that you haven't had yet. You know, a Mercury retrograde is a time to revise and review those things, and then make some plans for the future for new experiences, but then of course wait till after the retrograde to really make them happen. So Virgo, sun, moon, or rising, Mercury in Aries, this is going to be in your 8th house. So this can be you guys going back over different experience that you had that really touched your soul in some sort of way. That could be either positive or negative. The 8th house is a house of psychology. It's a house of healing, of shamans and stuff like that. So you may want to, if anything comes back from the past in memory that really bothers you, Virgo, you may want to go and see someone that can help you to discuss those things and heal from them if they were negative. It doesn't have to be negative though, because this is also the house of intimacy, of being on an intimate level, of getting to know someone. So anyone from the past that you had an intimate connection with, they can come back, Virgo, okay? That whether it's good or bad is up to you and your circumstances, but they can come back in person, they can come back in memory, or just trying to reach out to you and communicate with you. This is also a time where Virgos, yes, you do need to be careful when it comes to finances, especially joint finances. You can easily make mistakes with money that you budget and share and manage with another person. That can mean a business partner, that could be a marriage partner, somebody that you live with, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whomever, okay? And also money that you receive from elsewhere. Like if you try to apply for something, yeah, Venus is there for, you know, most of March to kind of be a supportive energy to make sure that maybe some things do happen for you that you are aspiring to happen, like getting approved for a loan or a credit card, or increases in your credit somewhere. But Mercury retrograde, once it's on its own, when Venus moves out of this area, it may be a little bit more difficult to keep track of things. And make sure that if you have to fill out paperwork for anything regarding insurance, loans, taxes, life insurance, inheritances, lawsuits, anything like that, that you double check everything, Virgo. And you guys are a sign who's very meticulous, so I know this won't be too much of an issue for you, but you need to make sure you put extra attention there. This can also mean like money comes back to you that was owed to you in the past that wasn't paid, but now here it is. You know, it can pop up out of nowhere. So Libra, sun, moon, or rising, Mercury being in Aries is in your 7th house. So this is your territory, okay? Because you guys are the 7th sign. You guys are naturally the 7th house in the regular zodiac wheel. So this is Libra-esque energy. So you'll be feeling extra Libra-like, okay? You'll be feeling like talking to people, getting along with people a lot more easier, wanting to be on the same page as others, like that, oh my God, me too, or you know what, you like that, I also like blah, 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 blah. Wanting to look for love. Also thinking about love. Mercury's our thinking. It's what we're talking about. So yeah, you'll be thinking about love a lot more. If you're single, it'll really be on your mind. Like, I wish I had somebody to do this with me or to do that with me. Like, go here, go there, and just bounce ideas off of their brains. You know, I really wish I had somebody next to me like that. If you are partnered or in a relationship, you'll be wanting to converse with your partner a little bit more about the relationship. And sometimes that could be asking them questions about like your status too. Like, who are we? What are we? Like, hello, like, what are we doing here? Now, since the 7th house does rule relationships with other people, including, you know, serious committed relationships, you guys are one of the #1 candidates for having exes come back from the past. I'm telling you, they may be hitting you up. Let me know, Libras. Drop it in the comments. Let me know if any of you guys had your exes come back, okay? Whether that's in your DMs, whether that's in your thoughts or your memories, or if they just showed up at your door, your window. Let me know. Let me know if that happened. But yes, people in general from the past can come back. Not just exes, but just people, because this is the 7th house of others. For Scorpio, sun, moon, or rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 6th house. So this is your work. So you guys, your minds, which is Mercury, are going to be so much more focused on work, like super busy. You can have your emails, your phones, your texts, everything just going off, okay? Like so in high demand with work, and that can be good. That can be good for you guys to be very busy. Some of you guys, you need to make sure, because the 6th house is the house of disbalance. So make sure you're balanced, that you're still taking care of yourself as well as working very hard. And speaking of health, yes, you can be a lot more concerned with your health. You can be reading labels a lot more when you buy stuff, talking about health with others. Just try not to be like on the hypochondriac side, Scorpio, because the 6th house, since it rules ailments and stuff too, you could be really like paying attention to every little detail and movement of your body and thinking like, oh my God, something's wrong, like I'm gonna die. But it can just have you paying attention to that in a good way for good reasons too. Like really making sure that your diet is on point, you know, especially because Venus is hanging out there. She will be tempting you, Scorpio, to like buy like cookies and bad stuff. Like, I'm a Scorpio rising and I have bad stuff all around my desk. Darn you, Venus, it's her fault. But Mercury can have you thinking and maybe taking some actions towards, you know what, I need to incorporate more of this, that, or the other in my diet and eliminate this, that, or the other. I need to exercise more. Wherever Mercury's at, you can be super active. So it's a time where you can be thinking about exercise, you know, getting out there and like moving around a lot more too, for the sake of your health. As far as jobs too, you can have maybe job opportunities from the past pop up. And with your work, especially if you do any type of work that's Mercury ruled, you, Scorpio, you need to make sure you are going over everything. You're not mixing up clients or customers. You're not misplacing paperwork or whatever. You know what I mean? Misplacing files. I'm going to take my own advice here because I've already experienced some of that. But with your work, you need to make sure you're extra careful, not sending things off to the wrong people. You know, stuff like that can happen with a Mercury retrograde here. But it is a good time to like review. You may have to do your work a few times over before you get it right. But that's the part of the retro. Redo, revise, and just take it as a lesson learned. Like, okay, next time I'm going to do this, that, or the other as backup, to make sure that these mistakes do not happen again. So for Sagittarius, sun, moon, or rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 5th house. So the 5th house is dating, #1, okay, and romance. So you guys are another one of the signs that can be having exes come back from the past, people that you dated, people that you had romantic encounters or relationships with coming back, okay? So yeah, same with you. They could be hitting up your inbox or your DMs. They could be popping up, you know, calling you on the phone. If people make phone calls anymore, they may be doing that. They may just pop up in your mind. You could be thinking about a love affair of the past, you know, and how fun it was, and you wish, but it's not the best thing to do to start something again or something brand new when Mercury is retrograde, okay? Because minds can be changed once it goes direct again, either yours or the other person's. But yes, if you are lacking in what makes your heart happy, which the 5th house rules, you may want to go back to doing some of those old things. The 5th house can rule hobbies, so getting back into an old hobby that you had a long time ago, whatever just made your heart so giddy and jump for joy and make you feel all bubbly and all that stuff. Saggies are normally pretty bubbly people, so whatever you have to do to feel more of that, think about it. Think back to what you used to do and bring it back. Retro, hello. If you're already in a relationship, you could be thinking about how to get that spark back into it again, you know, and bring some romance back into your life. If you do anything creative, especially for like a living, like a job or career, Sagittarius, then you need to make sure that everything is in order and you know, you've dotted all your I's and crossed all your T's with your creative projects before you put them out. So for Cappy, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your 4th house. So this is your family life. This is your physical home, your feelings of home and comfort and security. That's all the 4th house. So that's what you'll be thinking about. You know, you'll be thinking about maybe some Capricorns could be moving. Some of you guys could be moving because Mercury, remember, is where you could be super duper busy. So you could be busy moving. You could be busy like just not actually moving to a new home, but doing things around your current home, whether that's fixing things, gardening, like beautifying it, because Venus is also hanging out there for, you know, at least the month of March. Just staying really busy around the house. You could be talking more with family, having family over, having conversations with them a lot more than usual. They could be contacting you too, because especially once you haven't talked to in a while, with Mercury being retrograde here. And remember, retro brings back from the past. So family members that you haven't heard from in a long time could be contacting you. Hey baby, how you doing? You want to come over and have some pie? I'm just kidding. But no, you can have that happen to you, something along those lines. But yeah, you could just be also thinking a lot about your roots, your hometown, your country of origin, back in the day when you were young, you're not a kid anymore, all that stuff. You'll be thinking back and wanting to bring back the memories that you have, bring them to life again. That can mean even just something as simple as like music that you used to listen to, you know, going back, that stuff that made you feel good, feel comfortable, foods that you used to enjoy, enjoying those again, all of that stuff. You know, Mercury is just bringing back all of the comforts of home for you guys. So Aquarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising, Mercury in Aries is in your 3rd house, and this is communication, and Mercury rules communication. It's also traveling short distances, driving, and all that stuff, and Mercury rules that too. So it's like you guys are getting it double. You know, you guys are getting like a double Mercury transit. So the good thing about this is, yes, you will be more communicative. You'll be talking much more, speaking to different people, even like it doesn't matter where you're at, you know, if they're strangers or whatever, you can easily converse with people. And this is also communication, meaning like, yeah, getting on your devices and stuff that you use to communicate. You won't be able to put your phone down. Okay, when things transit your 3rd house, your phone is going to always be needing to be charged, okay? Like it's going to be in hand all the time, like more than usual. Communicating, posting things, browsing, your mind is going to move so fast. It's going to be like 50 different windows are open on a computer and you're like toggling back and forth. So with Mercury here, yeah, you'll be so busy. This is the house of running errands too. So you'll be like finding yourself running more errands. Either they will be given to you or you will find things to do. It's wanting variety and movement in your life. So that's what's going to be going on for you. Now with the retrograde, you guys are the number one, oh my gosh, one of the top signs, I should say, that need to protect your communication devices and your vehicles, and make sure you're careful when you are driving. I just talked to one of my many Aquarius rising homegirls. Okay, I have a lot of them. She was just like, oh my gosh. I told her, she was like, no, don't tell me this right now about Mercury retro. I'm like, you know what? Would you rather me not say anything, or to be forewarned is to be forearmed, honey? Okay, so make sure, check everything with your vehicle. Make sure it's tuned up. Make sure everything's working so you don't go through another retrograde, you know, period of like mishaps with your car and being stuck somewhere and stuff like that. So yeah, and also typos, miscommunications, sending the wrong message to the wrong people, all that stuff. Aquarius, sorry to say, but you guys are a little bit more prone to that than the other signs right now. So you guys just need to make sure you slow down with communication, Have patience with yourself and with other people, and you should be alright. Okay, you should be alright. So Pisces, sun, moon, or rising, Mercury in Aries is going to be in your second house. So this means money, okay? Pretty much money. So you guys actually will be thinking about money, making more money, hopefully for some of you guys, or thinking of ways that you can make more money at least, and working a lot more, maybe working overtime, working extra hours, whatever. You guys could be looking for second jobs or new jobs, part-time jobs. Maybe you're thinking about how much you get paid currently and trying to see like if there's anywhere else that maybe pays a little bit more, that pays you your true worth and value, because the second house also rules your self-worth and your value. You could be thinking about buying stuff more too. You could be busy in the stores, Pisces, especially because Venus is there too, and Venus rules like indulging and stuff. So yeah, you guys may be in the stores a lot more, wanting to shop, or even just wanting to browse a lot more. I mean, I'm a Pisces moon and I've been doing a lot of browsing, you know, making a list for when money is good again, you know, what I can buy, what I do want to buy. Yeah, so shopping, browsing, anything to do with like material things that you enjoy, your mind is going to be there, and your hands will be busy, like hopefully like making money and maybe creating stuff, you know what I mean? Now with the retrograde, Pisces, you need to be keeping better track of your finances. Trust me, I've already had 2 overdrafts, okay? 2 overdrafts during this Mercury shadow period, and they could have been avoided if I didn't forget things, because Mercury retrograde especially can have you super forgetful. So keep track of your money. And also my sun is a Pisces rising, same thing. Oh, I forgot about this bill. Oh, you know, like being forgetful with bills and your bank accounts and stuff. So make sure that you are on point with that stuff. Don't be, you know, skipping anything or anything like that. It's really all about your money and your material world with this Mercury transit. So that is it, guys, for this Mercury in Aries transit video. I hope it was helpful to you in some sort of way. Of course, leave me your experiences down in the comments. I really love to hear them. I like personal accounts of things, you know, because astrology is real life. It's not just this data that we read off or anything like that. So let me know what's going on with you guys during this Mercury transit, and don't forget to hit me up if you would like a reading at indigomoonastrology.com. It's in the I button above, and it's also below in the comment section. And don't forget, I have a sale to take advantage of on Know Thyself. Okay, get a natal chart reading. They are $50 right now. They're normally $80, and actually my price may be raised again soon for those. So Aries is the sign of I am. So for Aries season through March 31st, natal charts are on sale. Hit me up if you would like to participate, and if you would like me to intuitively interpret your chart. All right, guys, so I will see you in my next video. Happy Aries season. Peace.